سيدنا ونبينا حبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين اللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى لقاء يوم الدين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر الأهد مني لزيارتكم altogether إن شاء الله. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah for giving us the opportunity, alhamdulillah, to participate in another majlis in the name of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. We ask Allah inshallah to make this majlis and our participation inshallah here with dhakhira and reward for dunya, this world and akhirah inshallah. Recite another salawat and gift it to Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Last night we started our lecture with a question that what is our goal in this month of Muharram and what we want to achieve by our participation in the majalis of Imam Hussain. One promise I can make you right now that before you even notice, very fast, soon I will sit here and says, brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, this is our last majlis. Very soon, and I will remind you of that. Before you realize, I would say, we just passed 10 days, 11 days of month of Muharram, and this is our last majlis. The same that happened in Ramadan, the same that happened last Muharram, the same before and before. Therefore, wise people are those people, they know that sometimes the answer to their du'as, to their supplications, to their requests from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is providing opportunities for them to get better, to reach their requests. Sometimes you pray, either you, God forbid, has a sickness or something, or someone else. There are two ways. It's not that always Allah brings the shafa directly to that person. Many times, matter of fact, Allah would provide opportunities for that person to get better. Like what? He will somehow introduce a good doctor to you and for you. Somehow you have someone tells you something to do something, you get better. Provide the opportunities for that. Right? Sometimes the answer to all our du'as and supplication, our difficulties, our problems, our salat, our crying every day and night, Ya Allah, I want that, I want this. Sometimes the answer is that, okay, you want to find a solution, this is the majlis of Abu Abdullah, this is the majlis of Ahlul Bayt, go see what you can get from it. Not only you can reach and achieve what you were looking for it, but even you can get way more than what you were targeting. Because when Allah wants to give something, He's Kareem, He's Rahim, He's merciful. He gives way more than what you want. Sometimes He said, this majlis, you have to find it from here. Then for me, my whole power, my whole, mindset should be about what can I get this from the majalis of Abu Abdullah. So by the end of the majalis that would come very soon, I know that alhamdulillah, I check my spiritual pockets, and I say, no, alhamdulillah, I have something in my pocket. I achieved something from the majlis of Ahlul Bayt and Abu Abdullah, inshallah. Matter of fact, our goals in this month should be only one thing. And we request Allah, inshallah, to help us. And I want to say this dua, and you say aloud, Amin, right now. How about that? Bring up your hands. You're going to have dua. It's okay, right? In the middle of the speech. Ya Allah, we request you to make this Muharram the best Muharram in our life so far. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to learn the best of all Ma'arif of Ahlul Bayt and their teachings in this Muharram so far in our lives. Therefore, if I want to do that, you can bring down your hands. If I want to do this, I have to do something towards that as well. I have to work towards this as well. If I want to learn, I have to do something myself as well. So that's what we said, we have to set a goal. And I said that my goal in this Muharram might be different than your goals. Your goals might be different than your friends, your family members, or someone else. Based on what we need. We all go to the doctor. But for the same reason, for the same thing? No, sometimes I have something, you have something. Now that we are in front of the door of the most important and the best tabib, Imam Hussain والسلام, the one can cure every single deficiencies within our souls. And in our souls, we have to understand what we want to request. Let me tell you what. The doctors usually said every 6 months you have to do what? You have to go check yourself. Blood work and everything to make sure everything is fine with you, right? And as soon as I have some physical symptoms, I understand something is wrong with me. If I sneeze 4 or 5 times, that is usually 1 or 2 times, I understand something is wrong with me. I knock on the doctor's office, and says, door, something is wrong with me, please, can you check me? Can you make sure everything is fine with me or not? But do we have some things, some offices, certain things, that if we have some spiritual issues, we can knock on that door and say, you know what, I think my spirituality has some issues right now. I think my patience has some problem. I think my tawakkul and I rely on Allah, no, it's not that well. I think my temper and my anger has issue as well. I think the way that I interact with others. Do we have somebody that we can knock on the door and says, I'm going to fix this? Matter of fact, we have. The Maktab of Imam Hussain and Ahlul Bayt, it is that, best option for us. But first, we have to be able to diagnose the issue. First, I have to see that I have the symptoms. Not that sometimes I talk to my clients and say, you know what, brother? The way that you treat your wife or the way that you treat your husband doesn't matter. This is against Islam and Allah's recommendation. This is, what do you mean, Sayyid? His wife, they tell each other, you know something wrong, let's go fix it. No, everything is fine with me. I think you're crazy, you go fix yourself. Some people, they don't even realize that they have issues. He has anger management, temper issues. When they tell him, I'm angry? No, I'm not angry. You're angry, you have to go fix yourself. No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. First, we have to analyze and see what is the symptoms. What are the symptoms that we have to be able to go and fix it as well? Therefore, we need to have that self-reflection. We need to have self-calculation. What in Islam we call it what? Muhasabah. Muharram is the time of muhasabah. With a lot of help. At a time of self-reflection. With a lot of help. The help from spiritual help you want, the Majlis of Imam Hussain. As soon as they say, Assalamu alaikum ya Abu Abdullah, you start crying. You come 10 nights, 11 nights, 12 nights, the salat and dua and ziyarah and speech, learning, and then the matam and adab for Imam Hussain, the best opportunity, all in one package in front of us, right? What else do you want? You want to learn, the speeches are there, the ma'arif of Ahlul Bayt are there to do that. The only thing we have to focus is that self-reflection. That external help is what? Look at the history. Look at the society of the time of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. Look at that sick society. What happened to that society? That people stood in front of their Imam of time and then martyred. That's what we mentioned last time. We mentioned that we have to look back at the society. Not just for the sake of the history, to learn something from that, to see what happened to the ummah of Islam that they were waiting for the Imam, what were the viruses and issues there, so we can diagnose our problems and issues and make sure we get rid of these problems, within our societies and from our communities. That is what we said. Let me tell you something interesting. We are the bridge, as I said, between Ashura and Zuhur. I want to repeat this a lot, by the way, this night. What do you mean, Sayyid? When you look at the history of Ahlul Bayt, you have three groups of Imams. The first group, time of Imam Ali والسلام, all the way to Imam Sajjad, is the time of establishing the concept of Imam. People have issue with this. What happened to Imam Ali? The second group, Imam Baqir والسلام, all the way to Imam Kazim والسلام, is the time of developing and expanding the knowledge and the ma'arif of Ahlul Bayt. We know that, right? Imam Baqir, Imam Sadiq, the University of Imam Sadiq, 1,000 students, that among them there are fuqaha and scholars sitting in front of Imam Sadiq as learning about the ma'arif. The third group after Imam Kazim is the time that they are preparing the time for what? For Zuhur. Have you asked yourself why we don't have any Ashura beside Ashura of Imam Hussain within the history of Ahlul Bayt? Why? Could be possible, right? It is possible. So Allah could decree that, another Imam Kazim, for example, have another Ashura. It was possible. The same that Allah wanted. Inna Allah sha'a an yaraka qatila. Imam says, Rasulullah told him, Allah wants himself, He wants to see you be killed and be martyred in Ashura. The same thing, we know that if it was not ilahi, if it was not for the sake of Allah, Ashura was not alive up until today. We know that. Whatever belongs to Allah lasts forever. Whatever belongs to us, secularly from us and this dunya, would fade. It could be another Ashura. We could have another Ashura. No, we see no one Ashura. Imam Hussain, all the way we see that after that, Ahlul Bayt are preparing the situation for Zuhur of Imam Mahdi. And notice the word altogether. And our responsibility here is to analyze this. Where it came from? I said self-reflection. Analyzing ourselves, understanding what is going on personally with us, to see the problems and the issues and the deficiencies that might prevent us from reaching the goal of Muharram. Muharram has some goals for us. Allah never creates something and has something aimless and without any goal. We know that. There is a reason that we have Muharram. There is a reason that right now that we're sitting in the United States, the whole state is the name of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, the majalis by the name of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, and throughout the whole world. There's some reason, there's some message that we have to learn. There's some secrets. Let me make it simple for us. There are some secrets that we have to learn and get from Muharram. There are some codes that they want us to decode them and to get them. Some encrypted code that they want us to analyze Muharram, life itself of Imam Hussain, and learn about those secrets and those codes. Do you think that Imam Hussain والسلام, the most important person, became shaheed, the best of all servants of Allah, became shaheed with the best of his family? For what? For me and you just sit down here and just have the majlis for Imam Hussain? This is for a reason. Sitting here and crying for Imam Hussain and have the masa'ib of Imam Hussain and revive that is for a reason. They wanted us to remember that we are the followers of Ahlul Bayt for a reason. And reason is what? Prepare yourself for something bigger that is coming. Let me tell you something. I don't know how much you had this mentality, or inshallah have this, that sometimes sit with yourself, sit down on yourself, thinking about life of Imam Hussain and Muharram and Ashura. Try to understand something more important and deeper than what you know about Muharram. The majority of the things that we know about Muharram, unfortunately, might be those things that we heard when we were little child, when we went to the majlis back somewhere in our countries or somewhere. We heard Imam Hussain did this or that. Did we have any further studies about that? How many of us, when it comes to Muharram, we open a new book about Imam Hussain and study about the life of Imam Hussain? The most important things that change the whole world and brings a lot of passion. One of the scholars, he said that almost 20 years ago, he said, I was in Austria, and the day of Ashura, it was the mukib, the hayya, in the streets that were going for the azan and stuff like that. And of course, the police officers were there as well to make sure everything is organized. He said that when we were walking, I saw that the police officer is standing, and all of a sudden I look at them. I said, the police officer, men and women, they start beating their chest. What's going on? You're here for, what is there that you, this is one of the very, very respected scholar that I know him, said, I saw him that they are beating their chest. For what? What is it that is not in your control that you can't control yourself? What are you doing? If they were realizing, what are we doing? There's something, there's some secrets in this name and in this majlis, in the majalis of Imam Hussain, that we should not just say, yes, inshallah, come here and go, inshallah, at the end of Muharram. It looks like those people just go to a school, whatever score they get just to pass, and then finally they don't get anywhere. Like some people, they work in a company for 50 years, they're still in the same position with the same thing. There's no improvement, there's no promotion, there's no... Among the Sahabi and Ashab of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we have many Sahabi, good or bad or whatever. But there's some of the companions are special companions. They're closer to Rasulullah. There's some of them by the name of Ababa, by the name of Salman, by the name, they're different. They didn't want to be a simple companion. No. We have to want the closest one to be close to Muhammad, to be close to Rasulullah. That's what we see here, and that's what we have to see. We want to be close. Let me tell you something very interesting. I don't know if you thought about this or not. It might be new for many of you guys. Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, one of those codes I want to decode for you. How is it possible that almost after 1400 years, right now we see the majalis for Imam Hussain bigger and more passionate than before? I said that last night in the Musibah. If it's the beloved parent, if it's the closest one to us, passed away, may Allah inshallah bless the soul, all of them inshallah. But if they pass away, the closest and dearest one to us, maybe probably 1 month, let's say 2 months, let's say 3 months, let's say 4 months, let's say 1 year, we are so passionate about this and we cry and we finally see it's the rahmat from Allah, by the way. We forget about this, otherwise we would be dead. We couldn't tolerate the qam and the musibah, right? We forget about this. And what happened that today we see here in the Masjid of Imam Hussain, almost 1400 years ago, you hear the name of Imam Hussain, you start crying. You want the miracle? This is a code here. This is something out of the frame of this world, that when you hear the name of Imam Hussain, you start crying for Imam Hussain. It's not normal, let me tell you, normal from this aspect. That after all these years, and you were not even there. Not even your parents were there. You heard about its story and now you're so touched about that story. Isn't it something important that we have to analyze what happened over there? One of the codes I want to tell you is this. We shouldn't say that Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, he fought with Yazid. Imam Hussain did not fight with Yazid. No. Possible. If he was fighting with Yazid, a local enemy, a local person, listen very carefully. If Imam Hussain, he just fought with Yazid as a simple, first of all, telling that is degrading Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain, Yazid is no one to stand in front of Imam Hussain. Imam fought with the culture of Yazid and Bani Umayyah. Imam fought with the mindset of Yazid. Imam fought with the culture, secular culture of Bani Umayyah, that they want a mixture of Islam and no deen, deen and no deen. That is why today Hussain is still alive. If Imam Hussain fought with Yazid, who is Yazid? Hussain is the son of Amir al-Mu'minin, the one who pulled out the door of Khaybar. He didn't, no. That was a sample. Yazid was a sample and representative of that wrong mindset and wrongdoing of Bani Umayyah. That is why Hussain is still alive. Because the mission of Imam Hussain is and was global and was universal. Have you thought about this? That is why today we sit down here, not only Muslim, not only Shia, Ahlul Sunnah, not only Ahlul Sunnah, Christian, we see that Jewish, we see that, inshallah in Arba'in you go to Karbala, you see that there's a mokab in Ashura, there's a mokab, the hayya, the majlis by Christians walking towards the Haram of Imam Hussain. You guys want from Imam Hussain. You know, in some countries, in Iran, the non-Muslims, Jewish and people or Christian, when it comes to tabarruk of Imam Hussain, they bring their dishes to get some tabarruk from the food and the tabarruk of Imam Hussein's majlis. What are you doing? Not simple. No, there's something about the name of Imam Hussain. There's something about the message of Hussain that touched everyone. We have to get that message. We have to figure out what is going on with that. Yes, it started with ourselves, but what I started with. Self-reflection. I understand. There are some hijabs. Let me tell you what. People of Kufa were exactly in the same situation as well. But the difference is that they didn't have self-reflection. Many of their deficiencies, their issues, their problems blocked their path towards reaching Imam Hussain. Look at this. Many of their personal issues didn't let them get to Karbala. Many of them, they like Imam Hussain. I don't want to use the term love because love is a holy term. Many of them, they liked Imam Hussain. They knew he is the son of Amir al-Mu'minin, the grandson of Rasulullah. They knew his Imam. Many of them, but their personal deficiencies and issues that they didn't take care of them, those issues blocked their path towards reaching to Imam of their time, Imam of their asr. That is what we want, self-reflection. That is what in Islam says, تَفَكُّرُ صَاعَةً أَفْضَلْ مِنْ عِبَادَةِ سَبْعِينَ سَنَةً. 1 hour thinking about yourself in Islam, your relationship with Allah, self-reflection, muhasabah is more important than 70 years of ibadah with not knowing what you're doing. 70 years. Like what? Like Shibr. Shibr ibn Zulul, may Allah inshallah curse. Huh? You heard about them. He memorized Quran and he knew Allah and Salat. Many of the army of Yazid, every single Salat on time. Even with Jama'ah. Huh? Quran, many of them they memorized the whole Quran, whole father of Quran. Ibn Muljam here, he had the athar of sujood. You said sign of sujood, he had here as well, but he killed him under Amir al-Mu'minin as well. Because of what? Because of their salat and Quran became an adah, became a habit for them. Habits. There's no reflection behind this. There's nothing behind it. It's just a habit. You know, I have to pray. Yeah, what do you mean? I feel bad if I don't pray. But there's no self-reflection that after prayer, how are you treating your family? How's your business? How's your haqqun nas? Comes to me and says, Sayyid, yeah, we still have issue with my brother. How long? Yeah, 40 years we have issue. Over what? 40 years ago there was a land back in my country, I still have issue with my brother. 40 years you hold grudge in your heart and you want to improve? You want salah to start changing? The sister came to me, what's wrong? You know, one of my clients, yeah, you know, I still upset with my, mother-in-law. How long? We were married for 40 years. 40 years, you're still, what happened? In wedding, we had my mother-in-law told me something, I was upset. Oh, mashallah. Very good, alhamdulillah. Because we found the answer, right? When you have a lot of layers over this heart, it's like a receiver. Not this heart, you know what I mean? The soul. When you have different layers in front of, if you have TV or something, put different layers in front of that, and receiver and the wave that comes. Start, causing some issues. The remote, you cover it, so you start working, it doesn't work. The heart, our soul, are the receivers that are supposed to receive. When I put different layers of anger and issue and problems and difficulty, of course it's not going to receive reflection in the light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What should we do, Sayyid? We have some issues like this. You're talking like it's utopia and everything is fine. No. Matter of fact, yeah, there is a solution. What? To bring the stronger light into your heart. What is it? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna al-Hussain. You say it out loud. Do you know what I want to say? Inna al-Hussain. Misbah al-Huda wa safinat al-Najah. You want to get better? The light of Hussain, which is the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Penetrate even to those hearts. At least that they want to get better, but this light is a strong light. The majlis of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. That's why we're talking about self-reflection. That's why we're talking about thinking. While I'm talking right now to you, all of us, we have to start thinking about ourselves. While you're listening to me, I want you to start thinking about this. Thinking about your life. So, over these few seconds that we're talking, said Hadi is talking, look and review your lifestyle right now. What's wrong with me? What's self-reflection? What people keep telling me, my wife, my husband keep telling me, my children, my parents keep telling me, fix this, you have issue, you have... What part of my life I have to focus more on to fix it? What is that hijab in front of me and my Imam? You know why I cannot see Imam? We cannot see our Imam of time? Not because he's in Ghaibah. No, he's not in Ghaibah. Yeah, apparently he's not in Ghaibah because of the mission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Ghaibah doesn't mean that he's not among us. Hadith is saying, Imam of Asr, يَطَعُ فُرُوشَهُمْ وَيَمْشِي فِي أَسْوَاقِهِمْ. He walk in their bazaars, in their stores among them. He comes to their majalis. Ya Allah. Another dua. Is it possible that Imam of Asr al-Mahdi come to our majlis, inshallah? How many of these majalis we have in this city and in this estate by the name of Imam Hussain? It's not too much, Ya Imam Hussain. It's too much for me to ask you to come, Ya Mahdi. But this is majlis for your Jad Hussain. Whenever you have the funeral for someone, we ask who comes first to stand at the door? The relatives, the son. What is the hijab between me and him? You know what is it? Those deficiencies, those sins, those issues. Hijabs are made between me and Imam, that I cannot see him. The hadith says, when Imam comes back, return, many people says, we already saw him. I saw him before. Yeah, but you didn't recognize him. What is the reason? Because of those layers that I put in. Because I was supposed to see the beautiful things with these eyes when I look at Haram. Because I cannot hear his voice. I was supposed to keep these ears pure and beautiful to hear the voice of Haqq. But now I can't, because there are different layers now block me from listening. To what extent, Sayyid? To the extent that Imam Hussain is standing in front of the army of Yazid and he's advising them to khayr. Oh people, I am Hussain. He's introducing himself. I'm I'm the grandson of Rasulullah. My mother is Zahra. You know these people. I'm Hussain. To that extent that these hijabs are blocking them. Ghashaba. Quran talks about this. Curtain over their heart. وَعَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ. They can't see it, they can't understand it, they can't reflect. But say it, the way that you're putting it, it's a huge responsibility for me. Yeah, it is. Being among the followers of Imam Hussain, it's not easy, let me tell you what. Being in love with Imam Hussain is not easy, let me tell you this. They said themselves in hadith, Amruna sa'abun mustas'ab. It's difficult. Because it's difficult, it's precious. It's amazing. If you could, I said today, I had a speech somewhere else, I said that, if you could find diamond everywhere, dig there, over there, the soil over there, the ground, you could find diamond. Diamond was not diamond anymore, right? Because it's hard to be achieved, it's diamond. The love of Hussain is, let me tell you, love of Allah. We talk about love of Hussain, that means love of Allah. He's the representative of Allah. Imam Hussain, the whole light that you see is Misbah al-Huda because he's reflecting directly the light of Allah. We believe in this, right? The lights are coming from Allah directly. Love of Hussain is love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we talk about this, we're talking about this connection between us, this relationship between us. Another factor, another point from Imam Hussain, another quote. When you ask him, Ya Hussain, what did you fight for? What did you want to prove? You have to go ask Imam Hussain himself. In Ziyarah Arba'in, when you recite, you see that you recite وَبَذَلَ مُحْجَتَهُ فِيكَ لِيَسْتَنْقَضَ إِبَادَكَ مِنَ الْجَحَالَةِ وَحَيَّرَةِ الظَّلَالَةِ. He fought with those people. He put all his effort into that mission. Because of what? Because to pull people out of jahl and ignorance. You want to awaken people. Wake up. Look, someone like Yazid is your Khalifa. You live here. من الجهالة وحيرة الضلالة, and confusion of deviation that they created in the society. Jahl and ignorance doesn't mean that they didn't go to school. Doesn't mean they're illiterate. No. Does that mean that they cannot think properly? They're in jahl. Their wisdom, there's no wisdom. Because of some factors, we're going to dissect more. Because of some factors, this aql and this wisdom and this hikmah doesn't work anymore. They know that haq is in front of them. They see haq in front of them, but they do not accept haq. They knew who is Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam. People of Kufa, they knew who is Imam Hussain, and they fight with haq. That's the problem. The guy is pulling the earrings of children of Imam Hussain after the shahadat of Imam Hussain, and he's crying. Ask him, Mal'un, why are you crying then? You're doing this tragedy and you're crying? He said, I know what I'm doing, and that's wrong. But if I don't do it, someone else would do it. Allah Akbar. Look at the analogy. Standing in front of Allah or Rasulullah, family of Rasulullah, you know that's wrong. But if I don't do it, someone else will do it. I just introduced last night as well, but I just mentioned another factor. What is it? If I don't have from this dunya, even the amount of one earrings from the ears of the children of Hussain, someone else would have this dunya. What is this dunya? What is this dunya? To this extent, I am telling you this just that you pull the earrings and you start feeling, saddened, it touched you. They did it. And it didn't touch them. Because of what? Dunya. One of the factors that we mentioned, and it's so important to talk about. Last night we mentioned what happened that Bani Umayyah became Bani Umayyah, and what happened that they stood in front of Imam Hussain. And another question, if you remember, I asked another question, what happened that people at that society, they knew Imam Hussain, but they stood in front of Imam Hussain and killed him? One factor, elaborate more tonight, the same factor that we said, dunya. Imam Salih alayhi salam says, Hubb dunya ra'su kulli khatayna. Love of this dunya is the origin of every single issue that you can find in this world. I did it. I researched myself and I started thinking about all tragedies and issues and problems and betrayal, everything in this world, back from all over, from the time of Adam all the way to today. Any king, any country, anything, anyone killed someone else. If you go to the prison, there is only one reason. What is it? Because of this world. The king attacked another one because I want to expand my territory. That person is stole from someone else because of this dunya. You can't find anything that dunya is not there. Dunya can make people to be among the killers of Imam Hussain if they're not careful how they're using this dunya. If they're not careful. There are 5 groups in Karbala, enemies of Imam Hussain. I'd like to sort it out in my speeches so you understand exactly, follow it. There are 5 different groups in Karbala fighting with Imam Hussain. Group number 1, Khawarij, Kharijis. That they stood in front of Imam Ali. They were extremists, stood in front of Imam Ali. They had their own version of Islam, right? The Kharijis. They wanted their own extreme, relationship, whatever with Allah they created. By the way, I said that I want to come back today to see if we have any of those groups. We said that we're going to look at history and come back to our life to see if we have any of this issue in our world right now, in our societies as well. Number 1, the Kharijis, the extremists. Alhamdulillah, we have a lot of examples right now, we can see it. All the way started from Wahhabis and go to ISIS and go to Daesh and go to Taliban, and we have all this, right? The same Kharijis that we have today, we have it. And Wahhabis are supporting them. Exactly the same. Their own version of Islam. Extreme. Second group. Those barbaric, bloodthirsty people like Shimr and Khuli, that they just love to kill. They love to do these things. Second group that we know that in Ashura. Third group, cowards. They left Imam Hussain because of their dunya, because of their life. I'm afraid, what if I go to, just Ibn Ziyad told me if I go with Hussain, he's going to hurt me. No? Cowards. Group number 4, those who went to kill Imam Hussain for the sake of dunya. Group number 5, ignorant, that they believe Yazid is the Caliph of Allah, the Caliph of Rasulullah. Yes, go because we're supporting Caliph of Allah. The majority of people in the army of Umar Assad are from the 4th group because of money. When Hadi, you heard of this story, right? He had the head of Imam Hussain, he put it in the oven, and you heard about this. When he brought the head of Imam Hussain to the palace of Ibn Ziyad, you know what he says? جِئْتُكَ بِقِنَى الدَّهْرِ. The cost of this is the whole universe. If you want to pay me, you have to give me the whole universe. Mal'un, you know that and you're doing this. You know that that guy came and killed Imam Hussain, came to Ibn Ziyad and says, it's a beautiful story to see what's behind this. And he started having a poetry. He says, I killed the best of all people. The one who is the best, his mother is the best, his father is the best. Ibn Ziyad kicked him out and says, if Mal'un, if you know that he's the best, then why you kill him? They didn't want, that they advertise Imam Hussain like this. If you knew that he's like this, why did you kill him? Because of some more coins. I said today in the world, we have Kharijis, right? Wahhabis. We have different ignorant people that they follow ignorant people because of whatever. From these 5 groups, right? We have some barbaric one when they joined the Daesh and ISIS because of just killing, they love killing, right? We have some ignorant people, as I said, and we have the majority because of dunya, they cannot be improved. They cannot get closer to it. I finish with this. Those hadiths. The Prophet says, the biggest concern that I have from my ummah is dirham and dinar, is money. Is money. That the money comes, the dunya comes. By the way, I said that last night. We're not against it. We said that. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً. Ya Allah, give me the dunya hasana. We said that. We said that If we are sitting here and we go to the ziyarah, if we have the shuhada of Karbala, it's because in this dunya they could reach that level. We're not against it. We're talking about all those illegitimate wishes and desires in this dunya that block my path towards Allah. That means any attachment to this dunya that make conflict between akhirah and dunya. That means Ahl Kufa, what did they do wrong? When they were supposed to decide between dunya and akhirah, they decided dunya. This dunya is madhmum and that's wrong. But they have another one. Zuhair ibn Qayn Hilali, he is a billionaire. You know that? He's a millionaire. He has caravan, he has, a business one. A business caravan. He's going and drinking and drinking. He has a lot of money. But that dunya doesn't block him from what? Joining Imam Hussain. As soon as his wife comes, as soon as his wife told him, go see what the son of Rasulullah wants to talk to you, he went and he came back and says, this is all yours. I'm going. History is quiet here. We don't know what happened between Imam Hussain and Zuhur. Whatever Imam Hussain told him or showed him, he came back. Imagine someone who's a millionaire today, all his life, just let's familiarize ourselves with this, who has the best house in the state here, best car and everything, best business, one day comes and says, you know what, this is all yours. Give it to his wife and to his servants and everyone, I'm gone. Why? Because Hussain is waiting for him. Huh. We like that dunya, right? We like the dunya of Zuhair. But what we see here, this wrong dunya that we talked about this, and inshallah we'll talk more about this, is the reason that they stood in front of Imam Hussain. This is the reason that put the layers and hijab in front of them and they couldn't see and reflect the haqq and truth. Sometimes I think, Ya Allah, what happened? Why we're so, I'm talking about myself, why am I so lucky? It's not luck, I know it's not a good term, that I know Hussain, I know the name of Hussain, I understand who is Hussain. Little as much as we can. How amazing, how much mercy you had in my life and upon my life, that now, alhamdulillah, I come to the majlis of Imam Hussain. I look at myself, it's not about me, I don't know if in my generation, my grandparents, someone in my jet prayed, Ya Allah, and we're going to pray, Ya Allah, have our generation be always among the lovers of Hussain. Huh? Let's say it again, Ya Allah, we want you for the barakat and the blessings of this majlis. Have all our generation, ila yawm al-qiyamah, the love of, among the lovers of Ahlul Bayt and Hussain. Probably one of those dua that we're sitting here. Probably when the mothers were, giving us milk in the majlis of Imam al-Hussain. Ahmad, mashallah, to those mothers. I recommend those mothers, they have little babies. If they want to breastfeed, do it in the majlis of Imam Hussain. When they cry, the tears go with the milk and goes to the body of the child. Some of these things help us to be among those. Alhamdulillah. Ya Allah, to the end of the world, if you're sitting in the majlis of Majalis of Imam Hussain, just thank you for letting us know Hussain. It's not enough. What a tawfiq. What an opportunity. What an amazing that some of our brothers and sisters convert to Islam and convert to the maktab of Shia maktab of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, from somewhere way far away from Hussain, come to the maktab and the school of Imam Hussain. They were away. Different religions come to the maktab of Imam Hussain, and as soon as they hear Hussain, they start crying. What is it? Alhamdulillah, good for those. Double credit to those brothers and sisters who converted and came, alhamdulillah, left everything behind for the sake of Islam. Good for them. مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى. Quran says, little bit. You do little bit for us, we'll give you way more. You will see that at the day of judgment when you really need it. Sallallahu alayhi ya Abdullah. Sallallahu alayhi ya ibn Rasulullah. When you hear these things, take the echo of it. When you hear these things right now, this ma'arif, these teachings, Tell the kids to take their cloth. When you hear this ma'arif, and you cry for Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam, and you hear the name of Hussain, this tear comes from ma'arif, from intuition, from basira. That's why when you cry for Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam, you understand what you are crying for. That's why Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. That is our inshallah goal. That every night, when it comes to the end of the majlis, when it comes to the time of the musibat for Imam Hussain, we see ourselves on one side, we see Imam Hussain on the other side, we see our relationship with Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam, and when we cry indeed for ourselves as well. They said that the second night, they named it after the entrance of the caravan of Hussain to Karbala. The second day of Muharram, they reached Karbala. Indeed, when you look, you see that now Hussain and his caravan are getting closer to their destiny. As soon as Imam Hussain, he reached Karbala, he asked, there was an old guy over there, he asked, tell me the name of this land, a name that was in Arsh and everywhere, and all the prophets, they cried for it. Tell me, what is this land? What is the name of this land? The guy said, here is Karbala. As soon as he said that, Imam Hussain, he touched and held his beard, and he looked at the sky, and he says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. أعوذ بالله من الكرب والبلاء هنا مقتل رجالنا. Here is the place that was promised for us. Here's the place that they will kill our men here in Karbala. Here is the place. Let me tell you from my own version how we want to see it. When Imam Hussain, he told his caravan and his soldier, we're going to stay here. This is the place that we have to stay, Karbala. I don't know if the children of Hussain and the Khiyam of Hussain, they looked around and they said, maybe is my way of saying it. Oh, Alhamdulillah, we have water of Furat close to us, that's good. Oh, we have some trees, we have shades here. Oh, Alhamdulillah, it's a good place. But I don't know if the little children of Hussain, they look at the father and look at their mom and look at around. But Dad, you told us we're going to be in a city, but this is not what we promised to be. It's a desert, oh Father. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah ya. They said that when Hur came and he blocked the path of Imam al-Hussain, they were all thirsty, the soldiers of Hur ibn Yazid, they were all thirsty. They said that Imam Hussain already had water, a lot of water for them. When they came, Imam gave them water, a lot of water, not only themselves, even their horses and their animals. Imam, he gave them water. Let me tell you about this story, something very sad. They said when the soldiers of Hur, the army came, one of them, he was the last one, his name was someone like Ali. He came, he was behind everyone else. As soon as he got closer, he saw Imam Hussain in his path. As soon as he wanted to say something, he fainted, he fell down. Imam took him and says, what happened? He says, I'm thirsty. Imam gave him water. He said, I can't, I'm too weak. They said, Imam poured water in his hands and gave him water. Oh, and gave their animals water as well. But the same people, when it's Imam's turn, You know that not only they didn't give water to Hussain, they even deprived the 6-month-old baby of Hussain from water. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah wa ala al-arwah allati hallat بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. Before you say salam, let's go to Karbala and come back. When Hussain, he had Ali Asghar with himself, in front of the army of Umar Zad. If you do not want to give me water, that's fine. Just take this baby, give him water and bring him back. You know, I'm going to ask you a question. How much water a 6-month-old baby would drink that Mal'un he ordered to Harmala? Don't you see the whiteness of the neck of Ali? And you know what happened? And we know when Hussain couldn't come back. Don't look at me. Inshallah, have the condition and the situation of someone who is sat in the majlis of Imam al-Hussain. They said, whoever even pretend that he's having the situation, feeling of those who cry, would have the thawab, inshallah. Ya Allah. And you know, at the moment that Hussain has the body of Asghar on his hand towards the Khiyam. No, he goes a little bit towards the Khiyam, he comes back. Why? Because of his mother standing at the Khiyam, waiting for her son Ali Asghar. Now all together raise your voice. Assalamu ala al-Hussain. Whenever you all raise your voice, mashallah. Wa ala yourself in Bainul Haramain and say it again. Assalamu ala al-Hussain wa ala ali al-Hussain wa ala al-Hussain wa ala ashab al-Hussain ala la'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimin. Only a few du'as, inshallah, when we start the majlis Dumatan. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والناس ومد في عمره الشريف وزين الأرض بطول بقائه واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره وشيعته يا رحمن يا رحيم ثبت قلوبنا على دينك. Ya Allah, for the sake of the majlis of Hussain, hasten in the dhuhr of our Imam, Imam Mahdi. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, give us tawfiq to be among the true followers of our Imam. Ya Allah, help our youth always to be among the true followers of Hussain. Ya Allah, whoever has hajah, my dear brothers and sisters, give them all khair hajat. Those who are sick, cure them, and those who passed away,